God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Oh, God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything and every little thing that I need. And I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Oh, God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything, every little thing I need. God gives me, God gives me.
So what a great way to start the morning with God gives me everything I need, and I am so blessed. And we are all blessed to be here this morning at Unity of London's Zoom online service. And so we just welcome everyone who is here today. And we also welcome everyone who may be listening to this at a later time. So we trust that this service is going to bless you and give you everything that you need. And so our vision at Unity of London is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And so, what world do you envision? Or words that are relevant for you and our listeners? What vision or what words? And our mission statement is to transform lives. And so we inspire people to make a positive difference in the world. And so just think about that, about how we can transform lives to make a positive difference in the world. Maybe it's smiling at someone, or these days, just waving at someone or smiling with your eyes at someone. Maybe that's what it takes in this moment, at this time, to be able to transform their lives, is to know that they have a connection with you. Maybe if you're staying at home today, it's being extra specially kind to the people that you live with. So lots of ways that we can transform our lives in big and small ways. So let us go into prayer just close your eyes and be comfortable where you are if that feels right for you. And so as we come together today, we are grateful for the opportunity to spend this time with our Unity community, wherever they are and whenever they may hear this message. The Unity Power for November is release. And we trust the words of Eckhart Tolle, who says, life will give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. How do you know this is the experience you need? Because this is the experience you are having at the moment. And so we affirm, I release anything and everything that no longer serves me. As we go through our lives, we trust that we have all the powers within us to move through whatever situation is in front of us, knowing that what we focus on expands. Today, we bless everyone attending all spiritual gatherings, knowing that there are many paths to the one God. We also hold in prayer all of those who may need our loving support right now, and we whisper those names softly into this space. We also hold in prayer Unity Church of Agape in Scarborough, Ontario. And so as we move through this day, we affirm that everything is unfolding with ease and grace, seamlessly. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And so Dawn will be sharing another of Unity of London's core values, kindness, found in today's daily word.
Yes, thank you. Kindness. I flow with divine love as I give and receive kindness. The word kindness triggers feelings of warmth, connection, and love in my heart. I smile as I recall ways that friends, family members, and others have shown me kindness. I feel again the gratitude and blessings I experienced in those moments. Gratitude, love, and a beautiful awareness of connection fill my heart and mind in a remarkably similar way when I remember the kindness I've shared. The moment of electrons through a wire create a current, a flow. As kindness moves from person to person, it creates a flow of divine love. Both giving and receiving are essential to this current of love. So I look for opportunities to share acts of kindness. I welcome with gratitude, a grateful heart, the kindness others show with me. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? Micah 6, verse 8. Now let me introduce our speaker for today. Our guest speaker, Tony Orvidas, has a degree in psychology and sociology, a college diploma specializing in social services, and certificates in long-term management and municipal administration. After a long and distinguished career in social and human services, Tony found Abundance Together, a semi-spiritual online journal and website community. He is a lifelong student and teacher of spirituality, metaphysics, and abundance manifestation, an experienced mentor, speaker, and trainer. Tony is the author of Using the Law of Attraction. He's also a motorcycle riding instructor at Fanshawe College. Tony and his wife Bonnie have been supporters of Unity of London since 2002 and have been active members for the past 8 years. He is the current president of the board of directors. Tony has shared messages with us on several occasions, sharing humor, understanding, and wisdom. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Tony Orvidas.
Well, thank you very much, Don, and good morning, Unity of London. Today's message, as you can tell, is titled LGBTQ+ and Our Connection. I'm going to talk to you about the Unity theme for November, which is interconnection. Like the rivers flowing from one source, we are all connected. And then I'll focus my attention on LGBTQ. So, what does it mean to be interconnected? The Reverend Tony Stevens Coleman, and that's Tony with an I, says this: Chief Seattle, a Suquamish and Duwamish chief in the States, is credited with saying in 1854, "Man did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we also do to ourselves." That's the nature of interconnectedness. It goes deeper than the idea of being connected. Connected means joined, linked, or related. Interconnected means there are internal connections like strands of a web or threads of a tapestry. What is interconnected does not hold together without its other parts, so it is interdependent for its very existence. Being interconnected adds the elements of strength and flexibility that are necessary for existence and endurance. Reverend Tony goes on to say, as we move into a new decade, life is teaching us what the Native Americans recognized. We are part of a great web, not outside of it, but part of it, interconnected with it. We do not live outside, but inside as part of creation, part of the substance of God. The universe resonates with a shared harmony, and we, as unique threads, are able to unite in the tapestry of the universe. We move to the realization that we are indeed one with the one. Our awareness opens to a deeper understanding of who we are as spiritual beings having an earthly experience. When we see ourselves as interwoven strands in the expansive pattern of life tapestry, we see our relationship with God. As Yeshua says in The Way of the Heart, a book I'm currently studying with some friends of Unity, the field of mind that is you pervades the space around you and melds and dances with other infinite webs of relationship called other minds. So where does LGBTQ+ fit into this web, this tapestry of life? Well, each one of us is different with different perspectives and different truths. Yet we're all interconnected and part of one world, one family. And even though there are differences between us, we can appreciate the differences. Okay, let's start by trying to understand what the term means. The first is LGBTQQIP2SAA. Quite a mouthful, right? It is an extended abbreviation that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, queer, intersex, pansexual, two-spirit, androgynous, and asexual. Two-spirit, by the way, is the term used by some indigenous North Americans to describe those who fulfill a traditional third gender ceremonial role. LGBTQ is a shorter and more common abbreviation, and often includes genderqueer, agender, demisexual, and ally, that is, a friend of the LGBT community. Now, in case you're wondering what demisexual means, it's someone who needs a very strong emotional connection with a person before developing a sexual connection. Could be one of the reasons why I didn't score very much in high school. Anyway, I recently read a neat booklet published by Unity titled Worthy: LGBTQ Stories of Overcoming Rejection and Religion to Find Truth. You can get your own copy at unity.org. It's for free. It's a series of very personal stories that are honest, powerful, and spiritual. They describe the lived experience of people who identify as other than straight or heterosexual. I was not surprised to learn that many of them were bullied, harassed, and even beaten, ridiculed, shamed, and perhaps most hurtful of all, told that they were unacceptable to God. However, they were stories of healing, even triumph. I really enjoyed reading that booklet, felt uplifted, and then found myself thinking about the subject as I watched, with my wife Bonnie, reruns of Downton Abbey, the acclaimed British historical drama television series and movie, and then the Canadian-made comedy hit series Schitt's Creek. So when I realized that this month's theme was interconnection, I found that it fit perfectly into my message for today. Now, in Downton Abbey, Thomas Barrow was a homosexual character. He was a servant, an ambitious young footman who eventually became the butler. He was so ashamed of his sexuality that he tried electroshock, pills, injections in an attempt to make himself normal. He even attempted suicide. He was arrested for being found in a gay bar. But in the end, he found love and self-acceptance, like in the stories I read in Worthy. In the Schitt's Creek series, the son, David Rose, was quite a flamboyant member of the LGBTQ community, which included a number of other very interesting and unusual characters. Now, he, unlike Thomas, was not only accepted by the town, but welcomed as well. He eventually married his gay partner, and we hope lived happily ever after. Quite an interesting connection between the stories, don't you think? As an aside, on our way to a timeshare in the near north last September, my wife and I dropped by the motel outside Orangeville that was used as a location for the Schitt's Creek Rosebud Motel. That's Bonnie in the bottom slide. Then, on the way home, we visited the little town of Goodwood in Uxbridge, which is the site of other locations for the series: Cafe Tropical, Bob's Garage, Rosa Apothecary, the Shit House, and Town Hall. A busy day overall, and what a blast. Anyway, getting back to our topic, you may wonder, as I did at first, whether I really have the right to be speaking about this subject, about LGBTQ+, because I'm a straight guy, a heterosexual, as well as cisgender or cis, which means that the gender with which I identify matches the sex, male, assigned to me at birth, or should I say chosen by my higher self prior to this reincarnation. Not that I haven't been curious, but I've never played for the other team, am not light on my feet, nor am I limp-wristed or a fruit or a fairy. All inappropriate terms that I admit I once used myself when referring to gays when I was younger and dumber. Well, yes, of course, I have the right to speak about LGBTQ+, and so do you, since we're all one, right? We are all interconnected. As it says in Romans, For as in one body we have many members, and not all the members have the same function, so we who are many are one body in Christ, and individually we are members one of another. Now, what is your experience being with LGBTQ+ here at Unity? I recall a number of members and speakers talking to us during Sunday services about their experiences as gay, bi, or lesbian persons. Not always good experiences either. Unity supported the London Pride Festival by putting ads in the guidebook, had a booth at the event, and a number of us represented Unity by walking in pride parades. But what about my own personal experience with LGBTQ? Well, if I remember correctly, in high school, Steve, a teenager about my own age who lived in my neighborhood, mentioned meeting some guys in a public washroom downtown, hanging out with them and doing interesting things together. I found that unusual, but had always thought of Steve and his best friend as being rather different. While working as a part-time doorman at a downtown movie theater, I was taken aback by the flamboyancy of a young man who entered the theater with some of his feminine male friends wearing a pink sweater thrown over his shoulders. Later that fall, while watching a movie in that almost empty theater, after my shift, a guy put his hand on my knee after sitting down next to me. I was quite surprised and just moved over to another seat. A year or so after that, I found out more about gays while watching the 1968 movie, The Detective, starring Frank Sinatra, as a cop who was investigating the murder of a gay person. It was one of the first mainstream discussions of homosexuality in American film, a real groundbreaker. During my first year at university, my faculty advisor and head of the psych department, Father M, I will call him, started rubbing his socked foot up and down my leg during my first interview with him. Suffice it to say, I never went back for further meetings. A friend of mine who I'd met in residence admitted to me a couple of years later that he had spent a night with the priest after meeting him at a party out of plain curiosity. Then, while on summer break, working as a psychiatric attendant in Toronto, I became acquainted with a coworker who had come out of the closet and showed great pride in his homosexuality. It was quite an eye-opener for me. In Whitby, where my family and I lived for a while in the late 80s, we were befriended by our neighbors, two great gay guys with whom we became quite close. My dad would have rolled over in his grave had he known, given his extremely negative, judgmental, and prejudiced opinion of gays. Over the years, our two daughters had gay and lesbian friends. Bonnie, in her employment, worked with a number of non-hetero individuals. I recall attending a staff Christmas office party with her coworkers at Yuck Yucks in London one year. The comics were making a lot of inappropriate gay jokes, and here we were sitting with Bonnie's lesbian boss and gay staff. Quite an uncomfortable experience for us all. Afterwards, Bonnie and I were invited to a local gay bar. Great music and dancing. Now, while standing at the bar by myself, I was approached by a nice-looking guy who invited me to dance. I politely excused myself and said I was waiting for my wife, who had gone to the washroom. To celebrate our anniversary, Bonnie and I, for a number of years, had pedicures together. One year, I decided that since we were both paying the same price for this service, that I deserved to have my toenails painted, just like she did. If I remember correctly, the color was dark cherry. Just for a laugh, the next time I met them, I showed them to my brother and his sons, who immediately began to make rude jokes about my coming out and being gay. I didn't find it funny, and I told them so. Another time I recall cautioning them and my niece about using the term gay in a negative sense, as in, that's just so gay. For a short while, I was the executive director of a new community health center in Niagara Falls. I always liked the fact that our main purpose was to provide quality health services for all genders, all sexual orientations. As a matter of fact, I still have a t-shirt which reads, "Everyone matters." Once at a long-term care conference, a female administrator referred to the provincial health minister at the time as a flaming faggot. I explained to her in the crowd that the term faggot supposedly came from a reference to a bundle of sticks that was lit to start a fire to burn gays at the stake sometime in the Middle Ages, and that it was not an appropriate term to use. Other interesting experiences related to LGBTQ? Well, finding out that John Lennon supposedly had a sexual encounter with Brian Epstein, the gay manager of the Beatles, and that rock stars Mick Jagger and David Bowie spent the night together in bed. Watching how uncomfortable some customers were with the checkout clerk in a high-end grocery store in London who appeared to be in the process of transitioning from male to female. Bonnie holding a shower for and our attending the wedding of a friend's lesbian daughter. Promoting the movie Brokeback Mountain to some of my homophobic coworkers. Learning that the daughter of one of Bonnie's friends was in love and living with a person who self-identified as they. Teaching motorcycle riding to individuals who were not clearly male or female. Having interesting conversations about sexual identity with the bi-female person who cuts my hair. My disappointment with one of our friends who indicated that she did not approve of her best friend having a lesbian lover. Celebrating the fact that rainbow colors were painted on crosswalks in the town where we live. Now, was I hurt by any of my experiences with the LGBTQ community that I just shared with you? No. They were all learnings. My encounters and events were not painful, like the ones suffered by Thomas Barrow of Downton Abbey, or in the booklet Worthy that I talked to you about earlier. So isn't it wonderful the number of positive changes that have taken place over the years in terms of attitudes towards LGBTQ? That sexual orientation is now a mandatory topic taught in grade 5, compared to the misinformation or total lack of information about the subject when I was a youth. Members of the LGBT community are now the main characters on TV series, talk shows. They're singers and actors and politicians, celebrities, in all professions and walks of life. We've come a long way as a society, at least in the North American culture, but there's still so much opportunity for improvement. I'm proud of the fact that here at Unity of London, we celebrate our inclusivity, acceptance, and diversity. Aren't you? I really like what it says on the Unity International website. Each of us is created with sacred worth. No one exists outside the heart of God. In Unity, we believe God is absolute good. And because all people exist within and as part of this divine energy, each of us is also inherently good. The Unity movement is open and welcoming to all individuals, regardless of race, color, gender, age, creed, religion, national origin, ethnicity, physical disability, or sexual orientation. Neat, huh? As Joan Borisenko says in Pocketful of Miracles, when we begin to think more about the interdependence of things, we take our place as one more star in a magnificent universe, rather than as the sun around which the universe revolves. Our heart grows peaceful. So now let's quickly summarize today's message on interconnectedness. As unity, we recognize and honor the divine within as the one common denominator that we share on our human journey. We welcome with love all people in every form of God's creation, regardless of how that creation presents itself. It matters not if we are or are not LGBTQ+. We're all one. We're interconnected. Let us now prepare for meditation. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and relax. Take another deep breath and calm your monkey mind as best as you can. We'll initially do a guided meditation and then we'll go into silence. This meditation is based on an interconnection meditation from Silent Unity. Let my words be yours. Gradually allow your mind to relax and become even more still. Take another deep breath in. Exhale gently. We enter this time of meditation together, grateful for the gifts of stillness and peace. Releasing the demands of the moment, pressing thoughts and worries just drift away. We breathe slowly and gently, easing into calm and tranquility. Turning away from the world and focusing inward, we hold this thought in mind. Like rivers flowing from one source, we are all connected. Like rivers, we travel many different paths, all reaching the same destination. Arising from one divine source, we are separate, yet joined. Spirit and nature, wrapped in flesh. We are one with each other and one with the divine. With every heartbeat, we recognize our common humanity. With every breath, we realize our dreams and desires are the same. Good for ourselves and our loved ones. A better world for all. Joined in spirit and one in spirit, our good is bound together. We lay down the lens of division and choose to see through the eyes of love. We celebrate our differences and unique qualities that add beauty to the world. Welcoming the special gifts each person brings, we open our hearts and embrace all that unites us. Our commitment is to live in love and harmony as one. Our healing, abundance, and peace are interconnected. One in heart, mind, and spirit, we change the world, creating good for all. As we flourish and thrive, we lift and inspire others. As we are blessed, we now take a moment to bless others in turn. Like rivers arising from one source, we are connected in the divine flow. We are beautiful. We are powerful. We are sacred. And we are one. We affirm our interconnection. And so it is. Amen.
So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Tony for that just really great presentation. And I'll mention to you that one of the proudest moments that I had at Unity of London was, some of you may know that I actually just looked this up, that July 20th, 2005 was when the Canadian government passed the law saying that gay marriage was approved in Canada. And so I remember shortly thereafter on a Sunday, Reverend Laurie stood up and she was talking about that. And she said that she would be performing gay marriages, that it was now legal and she would perform them, even though there were lots of other religious leaders who at that point said no, that they were not going to perform gay marriages. So like I said, for me, that was a really proud moment for me, being a member of Unity of London, to know that we in that moment were walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Because there have been other friends of mine from Unity of London who have been referred to by other religious leaders as abominations. And so I was very proud in that moment. And also too, just to mention, there were people at Unity of London who left because of the stand that Reverend Laurie took at that time. So thank you, Tony, for just really bringing this all out for us. So I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, this is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. In this world, I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. In this world, this is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I'm living love every day. 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 Spreading peace along the way. Spreading peace along the way. Right time, right place. Living love every day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. Right time, right place. Living love every day. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world. In this world. In this world. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world. In this world. In this world. This is the place. This is the place. This is the time. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
So let your life shine. What a great closing that was. And so today we just affirm, filled with gratitude for our spiritual nourishment, we share our abundance in the form of a tithe. We give thanks for those who continue to give gifts to our spiritual community. We express our appreciation for the benefits that we enjoy. We rejoice in our chance to share of our good to the source that feeds us. And so we say the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yay, God. And so as we go about our week, may we consider the words that Tony provided with that very powerful presentation, that we are all connected. We are like little spiders in a spider web, and whenever we move, whatever we do, that affects everybody else in that web of humanity. Whatever their sexual orientation, whatever their background, whatever their culture, we are all connected. So thanks everyone, and I hope that those of you who can will stay on and carry on the conversation or have some comments for Tony. I'm really interested to hear what you have to say. So for those of you who need to go, have a great week. All right. So does anybody have some comments for Tony? Scotty. Okay, Scotty, can you unmute yourself, please? Nope, you're still muted. Oh, there you go.
Am I unmuted now?
You're unmuted now.
Okay. Again, Tony, as a member of that community, I want to tell you it was wonderful.
Thank you.
I feel you were sort of preaching to the choir a little bit, because this church is my church, and I very much feel a part of it, and I contribute to it, and I'm very much loved, and I love in return in this community. And I'm so proud to say that I am a Unity member. So just a simple thank you is all I need to say.
Nancy's got the flags there.
So is there anyone else who has a comment or a question for Tony or for just about the service in general?
I do.
Okay, Amber, please go ahead.
Okay, Tony, that was, and you are magnificent. That was so awesome. I so adore your presentations, and I could just hug you. Thank you.
Virtual hug.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. That was magnificent.
Okay, anyone else? Oh, Nancy, of course, go ahead.
Yeah, on this dark and blustery day, you gave us a rainbow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so let me ask you this. So from Tony's talk, were there any sort of revelations that you had within yourself about this community that you may be part or not be part of? Well, we're all part of the human community for sure. So any comments or any other questions? Pauline?
I came from a religion that was so homophobic that it was awful. And from a school system that actually moved a teacher because he was homosexual. And so when I came to Unity, I rejoiced in the fact that everyone was welcome. And Tony, your message today with the picture of the spider web was just profound. It was that visual combined with your own personal experiences, both of being approached and your own feelings and how you evolved, was mesmerizing and quite inspiring. And I hope that a lot of people will watch this presentation who are not members of Unity and gain the insight that you provided for us. Thank you so much for sharing. Beautiful message.
Look at her. Look at her.
Okay, anyone else?
She's like butter, little boy.
Okay, go ahead there, Paula.
How far we've come. It was really so great to hear
Significance.
that we've come such a long way. You know, it used to be that we just thought of gays. And I went to college and got quite a shock when I was 20 to find that I was next to a couple who were lesbians. And there's nothing like getting to know people. I talked with a guy who was gay, and it opens you up. And it just, Tony, you made us aware of how far we have traveled. And I hope everybody can hear something like that. I must say, just in closing, I remember very early in my 20s going to a movie and watch two guys kissing. And I had such a hard time with that. And now I just think of it as normal.
In my Lithuanian culture, it was not uncommon when happy or expressing joy or whatever to kiss your male, your father, cousin, this kind of thing. And I remember at Christmas one year with Bonnie's family, they'd given us a really nice gift or whatever. So I went over to Bonnie's dad and gave him a big smack. I thought the guy was going to have a hernia, really. He was just, but eventually over the years, we were even hugging.
Oh dear.
Okay, any other comments or insights?
Listen.
All right. Well, I'll share with you something that happened to me. Like I'm from Manitoulin Island. I mean, really, diversity on Manitoulin Island is Aboriginal people and white people. There was no, I think there was maybe 2 Jewish families. It was all very, very narrow. So when I moved to Winnipeg one summer, I stayed over in Winnipeg rather than coming back to Manitoulin Island in the summertime. And a fellow that I knew said, oh, there was this cruise that was going to go on at the Forks of the Red River and in Winnipeg. So did I want to come on this cruise? And I said, oh, sure. So I went on the cruise, and it turned out that it was primarily gay and lesbian cruise. And so for the very first time, I was just in absolute awe. There was this fellow who, he was a big guy. He was like 6'2". He had on a white turban and he had on this white evening gown and he had on all this jewelry and stuff. And I had never seen anything like that in my whole life. Look at Scotty laughing at me. But it was, and then there was the guys with the leather jackets and the chains on. And I like I said, I mean, here I was totally innocent to all of this lifestyle. And I was just totally in awe. I thought, wow, this is really something. I've never experienced anything like that. So obviously from the time I was in my early 20s to now, things have changed as Paula pointed out, but it was really interesting for me to be exposed to that sort of culture at that age, because like I said, I had no idea that there was ever anything like that in my life. So it was interesting for sure. So thank you, Tony. Now for, as Paula said too, sir, in this culture, and I think that's the important thing to know, is there's more normalization of people that are not cisgender. And but I think that we do have to remember too as well that there are still lots of countries that are still passing laws and negating who people are. George, did you have something you wanted to say? I saw your hand up there. No? Okay. All right. Oh, Nancy, go ahead.
When we first moved into this house on Jacqueline, which is just a few blocks from Unity, on 2005, I had a lovely stained glass pride flag in the front window. Turned us some bricks through the front window. That's London, 2005. So there's still a lot of work to be done even here. You know, I'm just saying, you know, I've had friends that were attacked and stuff like that as well. So, yeah, it is. It's nothing compared to what people in other countries go through. But we have our work to do. And I'm so glad that's part of the attraction for Unity to me, to know that you were in the Pride Parade, you know, and that. And the marriage thing was the deal breaker. That's why I ended up at Unity. It's a particular United Church that I'd been attending faithfully. They voted on it and they voted they weren't going to do marriage. And Colleen and I were at the point where we wanted to get married. So there you go.